I love water. It's really the only beverage that we should be drinking. According to the CDC, 48% of Americans drink at least one glass of soda every single day. Before you accuse me of soda shaming, you should know that a study found that Americans prefer drinking bottled water to drinking soda, which is surprising seeing as most bottled water has a 2,000% markup. It's the most abundant resource on planet Earth, and yet 1 in 3 people around the world don't have access to clean water. There's a problem. Water sold in useless plastic water bottles that are sold at a massive price markup when people that could use the product don't even have access to it. And I love to find problem solvers. Josh Cliffords is the CEO of FreeWater, an Austin, Texas-based startup that is the first free beverage company that uses ads placed on their label to not only pay for their business costs, but also donate at least 10 cents to charity per bottle. Not only does his unique idea have potential to flip the beverage industry upside down, he also wants to make free grocery stores as well. That's right, we're coming for you, big grocer. FreeWater. You're giving away free water. Tell me about how you intend to make money giving away free water.
We make money because the packaging is the ad space. The ads pay for the product, its manufacturing, distribution, our donation to charity. Every bottle donates a minimum of 10 cents to charity, our salesperson's commission, and our profit. And the same business model works for nearly all types of groceries and countless other products too.
How did FreeWater.io get started?
For my 30th birthday, I decided to do a trip around the world. I was in Rome for 5 minutes, and I was really moved by the story of a couple of Nigerian refugees. It compelled me to cancel my trip around the world and start a nonprofit. We helped thousands of people, and we found roughly 20% or more of them left their country because they didn't have access to water, food, or medicine. 40 million people die every year around the world because of this, while us Americans throw roughly $50 billion of food in the trash every year. It would only cost a fraction of what the US government spends on our military spending every year, and you could literally save the world. I decided to create a new solution, and so fast forward to today, and free water is just the first product of our future free supermarkets. Imagine if Amazon was free, the shipping was free, and a big portion of their revenue went to charity. The future is free, but the future is also local. If you drink a coffee from Starbucks, those coffee beans, they came from Central or South America, right? And then that sugar came from somewhere. Where did that cup come from? And you dissect the paperboard came from here, and the ink came from there. And then the plastic lid, well, that came from oil in Saudi Arabia, and then that oil was put on a tanker ship to China. Then it was sent somewhere else to make plastic pellets. Just on that Starbucks coffee, it could be up to 10,000 miles. And so when you check out the mileage of all the products in the supermarket, it's crazy how far they travel. And so the future is manufacturing products in every city and giving them away for free in every city. Zero shipping expenses, maybe small local shipping, but nothing circling the globe as they are today. When I first got the ideas for this, I didn't even know how to type or use a computer. And so before I could have discussions with you about, the elaborate software uses and systems and so on and so forth, I had to learn how to type, and I had to learn how to do a Word document. For me, doing a PowerPoint in the early days was like JavaScript or Python. And then once I was able to get that done, nobody wanted to listen to me. They're like, who the hell is this crazy dude who's saying that not only are groceries going to be free, but they're going to donate to charity and it's going to be profitable? It's not possible. So the first couple of years were spent basically having 1 million doors slammed in my face and standing up and dusting myself off. I tried to launch the company in Europe originally. It is so much harder to get people in Europe to work for equity, for a slice of the pie. That's a very American thing. And I spoke to investors, and they're like, oh, this is Europe. We don't do new technology. We're copycat investors. We wait to see it happen in America first. Then we decide if we want to copy it here. And they're like, you're from California. You need to go home and do this. And then someone was like, in Austin, they've got this expression, keep Austin weird. You're doing a free supermarket. That's pretty weird. You should go to Austin. That was a huge opportunity, though, because when people were waiting in line 4 hours to get into the supermarket, I was handing out free beer prototypes to collect feedback data. I was able to refine the product that much more. and then eventually started distributing free water.
First off, how can you give away free beer in front of a grocery store? That sounds like a Beavis and Butthead episode.
I actually started with free taxi and free flights. Totally solved it, and we could do free taxi today. It's just my mom got me to pivot. She was like, listen, you're not rich and famous. No one's going to give you a car company and make free cars. But if you prove yourself with a bag of potatoes first, or a bottle of water, then people will start listening to you. During the pandemic, everybody was really scared. I was giving out free beers. They were warm, number one, and they had really horribly printed out like super ghetto labels, and then just told people, listen, our first product will be free water. Please excuse the label. Just what do you think? But not one person said, I don't want free groceries.
You had this vis-a-vis with Coca-Cola's TikTok follower account. Do you think those guys are paying attention now?
100%. They have to be. One of the largest banks in the United States sent their head of innovation to Austin, flew them out to buy me breakfast. And he was just like, I don't know how you did it, but all of the executives at Wells Fargo from the CEO down have had like 5 meetings this week alone about you and your company. So they flew me out here just to pick your brain. What's the future of consumerism going to look like? And by the way, we tag them like in the hashtags of almost every video anyway. They have to see it. I mean, I'm literally sometimes making videos saying it's going to be crazy when all of these Cokes are free and covered in ads in the future. So I'm literally forecasting their future moves, and they'll copy us because this is 100 times more profitable than them selling it.
Amazon has a concept grocery store where there's no employees. It's all like barcodes and things like that.
It's so scary though, because it's literally full of 1 million Big Brother cameras. What they're doing is you need the Amazon, Prime app to go in the store, and they're Big Brothering everything that you're doing, like measuring how many seconds you stare at an item. It's just a way for them to extract more drops of data to kind of expand their level of consumerism.
Smoke.
And when I say free supermarkets, it's not necessarily brick and mortar, but it'll just be shipped directly to your doorstep. And we've created ways to make everybody else's supermarkets free in the future too. Even if Target, Walmart, Amazon, the Apple Store, even if they don't want their products to be free, they'll have no choice. The only way for them to stop their products from becoming free is by stop accepting electronic payment, and they're not going to do that.
Those cameras and all the AI and technology that use, that stuff's got to be ridiculously expensive.
But it's much cheaper than paying someone minimum wage to run that register. The waste across supply chains is mind-blowing. Most consumer products, from the t-shirt to your cheeseburger to whatever, if you measure the aggregate efficiency across the entire supply chain, most of the biggest companies in the US have 90 to 90% loss in everything they do. That means every watt of electricity, 90% wasted. For every one thread, they've wasted 95. But that's where humanity is at today. That's why these things need to be fixed.
You guys are the world's first negatively priced company.
If you get a water from us today, it's obviously free. But we also donate a minimum of 10 cents to charity to build water wells for people in need. This is 110 or 115% off. It's not just free. We call it the giving economy, which means we make a profit while distributing negatively priced goods and services. And the way it's going to work, you come to the micro factory and you drive around a drive-through, pop your trunk. We're going to throw 100 plus waters in your car, and we're going to pay you a nickel per water for taking the water from us. We're going to pay you to take away the free water.
These people care more about your brand personally than some big corporation.
It's a really famous TED Talk. He shows why Apple was so successful in scaling to other products like the iPhone. And it was because they started with the why. IBM, which was a much bigger company, their ad was like, look how badass our computers are. You could do all of these features. Buy it right now. Versus an Apple computer, which is like, if you want to get the most out of your life, if you believe you could always achieve more, think differently. They start with the why. As a startup, we have the biggest why in history. We're saving 40 plus million lives in this decade. We're ending the global water and food insecurities. Most people say, well, water should be free. Food should be free. So they believe in what we believe. And that's what makes any movement very powerful.
Your whole thing is, how can I be a value add? Do you have any advice for somebody that's trying to start up a project like this from scratch?
The number one thing I tell any entrepreneur, and I always get crazy faces when I tell people this, if you're in the idea phase, you don't know what you're doing, don't live in the United States. Go live in Thailand on the beach. Go somewhere where you could live on $300 a month for rent. Extend your runway as far as humanly possible, because in a country like that, 5 or 10 grand can give you years and years of runway. Versus like, oh, I'm going to quit my job and move to Austin. I have 6 months to reinvent the next wheel. Go be that digital nomad. Have all of the time that you need to invent something. And then on top of that, it needs to be something that bothers you so much, you'll do anything to do it. The only reason why I couldn't quit, and I wanted to quit when it got bad, there's tens of millions of lives that could potentially be transformed.
I don't know if you saw, but I was like sort of creeping in your lives the other day. And I was like, are these guys going to do vending machines? Because it just makes sense.
The way that the first prototypes of the free vending machines are going to work, you'll download our app and you'll watch 3 videos like YouTube, and you'll get a digital token, and then you will tap the vending machine like Apple Pay. Boop, and out comes your free beverage. And that system will limit it to 1 to 3 beverages per person per day. But that software process of watching some ads for a reward is actually how we're going to make every other supermarket free, because currently YouTube charges 40 cents a minute to advertise. We're going to charge 40 cents a minute to advertise, but we're going to pay our audience 37 of those cents, which means in the future, the average American will get paid $21 an hour to watch ads and train our AI. It's designed to get everybody to compete at saving the world.